Welcome to the Hopenning, the place where hope is happening, with your hosts Fran and Marina Theron-Monnery. For more information about Fran and Marina, or to apply to be a guest on the show, please go to our website www.hopenning.com. The Hopenning is for informal purposes only and is based on the research of your hosts, Fran and Marina. They, as well as their guests, are not responsible for any losses, damages, or liabilities that may arise from this podcast, which is not intended to replace any professional medical advice or care by medical professionals you are currently utilizing. Well, Fran, it's number 100.
Congratulations, Marina.
You as well, and you shared statistics with me about how many podcasts does not make it this far.
Yes. Actually, only 3% of every podcast that goes online on the market actually lasts 1 year. And we've made it about 2.5 years,
Two
right?
and a half. 2.5 years. And we've had some breaks in between circumstances and traveling. It's very, I would say 80% of the time we've been weekly, maybe more, maybe 90%
I think it's
of the time.
more.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, so wow, what a privilege. So let's revisit.
okay.
Let's talk about how we started.
Okay. So we started because both Marina and I were taking rapid transformational therapy as a course during COVID, right? We're all locked down. We're in Alberta, Canada, and we were locked down. So at that time, I was in my little bubble. We were all in a bubble and had lots of time in the evening to be self-reflective. And so what did you do, Marina?
Well, for me, it was at that point I was working as a coach, and my life consisted of trying to find places to do public speaking. So whenever there's an opportunity, I would call places, can I come do a speech here? And then from there, I would do a sell from the stage, like if you think I can help you from my story, now I changed your life. And it was hard. It was really tough. So COVID happened, and Wayne and I moved out to our lake house in British Columbia, which we sold in the meantime. And I made the biggest garden possible. You've seen it. And I decided, what's next. And I don't care what you believe. I don't care if you believe in God or the universe or source or Jesus or Muhammad. I don't care. But I tell you, every single time I would meditate and I would think, I cannot do nothing. I need purpose in my life. This ad for Marissa Peer and rapid transformational therapy would come up. I followed Marissa for a few years before that. Wayne still laughs because in some of my mirrors in my house, I still have with lipstick written, I am enough. And so when this opportunity came, I tested it and I wanted to know, is this the right fit for me? So I thought, okay, some of these courses can be very expensive. So if I set myself a dollar amount and I say, okay, this is what I can afford to pay. If it falls within that amount, then I'll do it. And it was on the cent, the amount that I put in my head. And so, yeah, and I met you. So, yeah, fast track. End of 2021, when we were then starting to work and starting to see paying clients. I started middle of 2021, around May. And I just had this absolute desire in myself to move away from the doom and the gloom when you turn the TV on. I've had enough. I've had my fill. And so I wanted to talk about hope. And I remember talking to you one night and saying, hey, I want to do this alone. Want to talk with me about hope? And so here you are, Fran,
Yeah.
100 episodes later.
And for me, it was why not? Because I tend to do that, right? Rather than saying why, I'll say why not?
I
And
love
which
that. I love that.
really bugged my principal because at the time
Oh,
I was teaching, right? Teaching,
yes,
teaching, grade 5 students here in Canada. And I would say, why not? And I would question people. Well, why can't I do this? Right? Why can't I? Because I'm an innovator, I'm creative, and I like doing stuff that's different. And change is good, right? Change is good. It's always good. And so when you asked me if I would like to do this, I'm like, why not? So we started, right? And at first, and it was, you know, I can't even remember what kind of a camera I had. Like, I think I was
right,
working off my
right.
tablet,
No, it was
my
just a
tablet.
laptop, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was, or
yeah,
maybe my phone.
right.
I think I might have been even off my phone. I had no microphone. But it was like, whatever, because it's just something
Right,
fun and new and,
right.
novel.
Well, I think it definitely gave me a lot of hope just to have a theme on around hope to talk about every week. And then remember the fun times then when we started to brainstorm the name.
Yeah.
We were looking for something hope. And gosh, I cannot even remember how we landed on the Hopenning, the place where hope is happening.
Yes.
And I
It
still have to run into a person who does not tell me what an absolute brilliant name it is. So,
Lots of people say that. It's like Hopenning. Sometimes they have a trouble spelling it, right?
right.
But I mean, that's understandable. But
Yeah, I
it's
don't
all
even
like,
know
wow,
how we decided to put two N's in there. But anyway, it's unique. It's the Hopening, the place where hope is happening.
yes.
So my goodness, Fran, with the 100th episode, we also are bringing some changes.
Mhm.
So tell us about that.
Okay, change number one. We are going onto a RSS, correct? RSS. So when we're on RSS, that means we can put it onto different platforms like Spotify, correct? Spotify, YouTube, Apple. Mm, you're probably a little bit, I think, what did you say?
Let me
Eight,
look it up. I need to
eight
get this on
different.
the other side of my ring light here, and I can look it up for us. Yeah, so RSS allows us to do proper podcasts, right? Instead
Yes.
of just we've been thankfully for YouTube, we've been having this vlog. So we are, as of right now, this will be officially, we had one test run, officially our first episode on Spotify, Amazon Music, Samsung Podcasts, Podcast Index, Listen Notes, and the RSS community, as well as Apple Podcasts, Pandora, TuneIn, iHeartRadio, and Deezer. And of
Yay.
course, as always, the video will be on YouTube. So this is extremely exciting
And
that we are expanding our listeners.
the fun thing about that is we could still have other pages open on our phone and still be listening to Fran and Marina,
Right,
right?
right,
And we don't
right.
have to use as much data up because YouTube uses up more data when you're driving. So, I mean, I think it's like a bonus. So great. I'm so excited about that. Number two, we are going to change the format of Hopenning. Um, so we will alternate between interviews. Marina will interview me one day, one week, and then I will interview Marina. And then we will talk about A Course in Miracles, which we both are embarking on. And anyone who's taken A Course in Miracles or studied the book will be able to pipe in, join us in the watching the video and seeing what we're finding in A Course of Miracles, because I think it's exciting. I've wanted to read that book for many years. And then our fourth fourth episode of the month will be a special guest. So I think it's going to be fun because Marina, you're a specialist in certain topics. I'm a specialist in certain topics, and we'll be able to talk about what our specialties are,
Right.
and that's
Yeah,
exciting.
I love that, Fran, because I think most people only see us in most of our episode as the interviewer. However, both you and I are working in this industry where we are actively helping people, and we both have skills, we both have experience. I stopped counting a while back at about 250 sessions as a therapist that I've done in really a short period of time, and I stopped counting how many it was. And I thought, at some point it's actually not that relevant to keep counting. So that comes with a lot of knowledge, a lot of experience, a lot of interesting sessions, interesting scenarios, sometimes jaw-dropping situations. And I think as a therapist in this in rapid transformational therapy, you have the ability to think on your feet and literally deal with what comes up. So after all this time, I think it's about time that people hear more about what you and I do. So I'm grateful.
And the thing is, those of us that get into this, what we do, hypnotherapy, I think we tend to be on the end of the spectrum that are empaths. And because we're empaths, we're humble, right? Because it's like, man, every time I have a client in front of me, I'm walking in their shoes with them, because you and I both have come from environments, situations in our life where we've had stuff, right? We've gone through this stuff too and come out the other end stronger. It's been difficult, but of course, you do come out stronger, but it's so much easier when you're able to walk with somebody to share that burden, somebody that you trust. And I think in hypnotherapy, it's so important that the client has a trust relationship with the practitioner, the therapist. Otherwise, how can you share this stuff? How can you ever talk about it? Like the privilege that you and I have had with our clients, it's jaw-dropping and humbling, right? Just such a privilege to share.
Isn't that true? Isn't that true?
Yeah. But along the way,
through this whole process in the last 2.5 years of doing this, we also have come up with a website. So that people can, if they are, we have it in our theme song, and we will mention it going forward in our episodes, that people can go up on the Hopenning. It's just called Hopenning, HOPENNING.com. And I'm going to share the screen. So here you can see our logo. I think it's see a lot of that lately. And Fran's lovely face, my face, the Hopenning, the place where hope is happening with your host. And then you can actually read a little bit this about Fran. That takes you to her website. About Marina will take you to my website. You can go on Contact Us, where you can contact the host. You can go look at the episodes, and you can apply. If you want your story to be told, if you have a story of hope, you can contact us and you can book a meeting. First, fill out the form, then book a meeting to meet me and Fran to tell us your story of hope and to see if that is something that will work for us. So that is the website, thehopenning.com.
Awesome. So let's see. Are those all the big ideas of what's coming up next? I think. I think so. I think so, Marina.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
And
that's
yeah. So I have a couple of questions
okay.
for, let's do some, that's the teacher in me. It's like, have you been paying attention? So the teacher in me is asking, Marina, how many of our guests do you think, um, our guests, do you think are published authors of our first 100?
Well, I know that we have, and I have to give kudos to you, Fran, because you've been absolute brilliant in finding out fantastic guests. I've been working on the technical side,
Yeah.
so Fran has been working on finding guests for us, and she's been doing an absolute fantastic job. So thank you for doing that. And so many of them have been published authors, and I don't know, I would say good 50% of our guests have been published
We've
authors.
had 55 guests out of 100 episodes, and 24 of them were published that I know of, right? They might have published since they were on our
Right,
show,
right.
but 24 out of 55. So what is that, 45% or so? So
Yeah.
45% are actually published authors. And you know what's super interesting? Julie Valenti. Do you remember Julie Valenti?
I remember Julie. We had 2 episodes with her, right?
We
Yes.
did, because her book was so comprehensive, such a good book. And she just wasn't, she didn't have long enough time to share her knowledge. So she came on twice, right? She came on once and then she graced us again. Um, I'm doing a book study with her book with
Oh, that's
nine. Yeah,
amazing.
I know. So 9 of my closest friends here where I live in Alberta, we're getting together 6 Mondays in a row, and we're
Wonderful.
studying. I know, studying Julie's book, and Julie is Zooming with us. She's coming in.
Oh, how
I know,
beautiful.
fun, hey? So
Yes, it is.
she,
Well, that brings me to the absolute phenomenal guests we had over the last 2.5 years, and some of them really became friends.
yeah,
And it's
yeah.
it's beautiful to have that kind of relationship with them and follow them and see life events that happen. And that brings me to another thing, Fran. For both you and I, in the last 2.5 years, we've seen some changes in our lives. And tell me about what happened in your life.
Okay, so when you and I first met, we were not even rapid transformational therapists
Um,
yet. We were not certified. So Marina and I practiced hypnotherapy on each other. And I think because we had the intent of helping each other, of doing good, even though we weren't certified yet, change happened in both of our lives. And it was super interesting, when I think about the the things that were going on in your life, the things that were going on in my life, and what I wanted out of our sessions. It's incredible. So in the last 2.5 years, I went from full-time teaching to being retired, right? And it was a fear for me. It was really a fear of retirement, because it was like this big empty black hole that you kind of just fall into and die in front of the television set.
yeah.
And since then, I mean, I've been just doing so much. I mean, with my hypnotherapy, teaching a university course, being being a guest on a conference that I was in just in February. Opportunities just kind of opened their doors for me, like incredible opportunities that I just never would have expected would have happened. And
Mhm.
yeah, as soon as the intention was there, right? And then a shift in the mindset was all it took, just a little tweaking with hypnotherapy here and there. The mind shifted to the possibilities that could come out of, being it hope, or be it just a promise, a promise of I can do good in other areas of my life, not just being a teacher in a school. uh, the God, the universe, Jesus, whoever, whatever we call that force just opened it up for me. And you as well, right, Marina?
And you're retired, right?
I'm retired from full-time
Mhm.
teaching.
From teaching, yeah,
Right.
from teaching.
Yeah.
Well, gosh, it's incredible to see the changes. I think it was one of our very first episodes where I was so excited because I was becoming a grandmother, and now my
Yeah.
toddler grandson was here today with me, keeping me very busy and fit. And I we sold our house in British Columbia. We've been traveling a lot. My youngest got engaged. I hope I have a wedding that I will be invited to, tongue in the cheek. So, kids today, they don't go for the big weddings anymore. And then I was contacted by first the podcast network to do a series for them, and then for Bold Brave TV to do a TV series for them. And I'm in the middle of that. And that is live every week. It's a completely different feeling. And but I'm grateful because, I'm at this point in my life where I'm like, okay, whatever comes my way, I just go with the flow. If I have to do this, there's a reason why. There's a lesson to be learned. There's fun to be had. And it continues to talk about hope. And
Mhm.
talking about hope has become such an important thing to me. That's really, if we can steer most conversations, if not all, towards a conversation of hope instead of fear, just think of the world we will create.
Mhm. Yeah, and to be reminded of that, right? And I think
Mhm.
that's what our show does so good, is just to remind people of the knowledge of what hope, even, I'm all about the science of it, right? What does hope, having a feeling of hope, do chemically in the brain? Well, it's amazing what it'll do. The different types of brain hormones that get released, just feeling hopeful,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
It's incredible. It's almost like it creates a path where God, the universe, whatever you want to call the force, spirit, creates for us. Put your footprints down here. I'll lead you, right? Uh,
mhm, mhm.
Pretty amazing stuff, right? And I love that brain science stuff because it's data. There's data on it that
Yeah,
shows that people that are more hopeful live longer.
yeah,
How can we
yeah.
explain that? We can't explain it. They live longer, they have better relationships, they don't get as sick. Like, look at yourself, Marina. How many times have you been sick in the past 2.5 years?
Well, it's interesting, Fran, because Wayne and I, a year ago, we were just returning from India and we got sick in India. I have my theories why. It was not a stomach bug, it was a cold. We had our own driver. He was sick in the car. Wayne got sick while we were there and he got really sick. I got sick on our way back. And our grandson, as soon as we were back, he started daycare. And that was interesting because every time we saw him, we got a new bug and we went through the whole series of it. But
Oh.
I'm grateful because through everything, I'm not the kind of person that's ever going to say, oh, excuse me, I cannot do this today because I'm sick. I'm just not like that. I've learned through the years how much control I have through my mind. And even a few months ago when I had a singing performance, I was sick a few days earlier, and at some point I just said I will not miss the performance. And like this, I became healthy. I didn't lose my singing voice. I was fine and I sang, and no trace of anything wrong with me. But it was end of last year when it was actually when that performance happened. I made the firm decision, this is it. This is it. I'm done. I'm done. I'm not getting sick anymore. And I haven't been sick since. So I've been traveling quite a bit already this year. So I'm not getting sick. I'm also really taking good care of my body, my diet, my sleep, my meditation. And that alone is, I think, very hopeful. So you are frozen, Fran, so I'm going to keep talking. Oh, there you go.
Okay. So I have been sick for about 3 hours. 3 hours while I was in Belize in December. And it was, I think, salad that was washed in water, wasn't one of those things. And same like you. It was like, okay, I'm finished being sick now because I am going to eat that meal that I just prepared by hand in a cooperative, ladies cooperative that I helped, make the tortillas, and I helped make the stuff, right? I mean, it was a celebration to make all this stuff, the corn, and ground the corn with a rock and make it in tortilla over a flame. It was fun. So 3 hours, not even 3 hours, 3 trips to the outhouse. And that was it. I was not going to be sick anymore, and I wasn't. And then one day, listen to this one, Marina, I had that little tickle in my throat, right? And then the mind automatically goes to, oh, Fran, you shouldn't have said, right? That little should never have said that you never get sick. And then I countered that with, oh, yeah? Well, I am not sick. I am healthy. I refuse that. I refuse it. And sure enough, I was fine. So it was like, the more you practice this stuff, the better your mind gets at, oh, so she's not accepting it. Okay.
I love it. And, Fran, you know that I've now been to 3 Dr. Joe Dispenza live events. And it's all about that. It's all about how much can you change your mind? And he always says, if you want to change your personal reality, you have to change your personality. And this whole healing thing came spontaneously to me in 2010. I was not really involved in this kind of work at all, but I was singing for the company that I now own. I'm doing Christmas caroling, and it was the first year. It's by invitation only. It was the first year I was invited, and we were singing at a private club, and it was my second performance. And that morning, I started to feel I'm going to throw up, and I knew 2 things will happen if I got sick. The first one is I will let them down. Mm-hmm. And the second one is I will never be invited back. So I made that firm decision. I will not be sick. I will not surrender to this nauseous sensation where I came close, but with my mind, I kept on saying, no, no, I'm not doing it. I'm healthy. I'm healthy. I'm healthy. I believe in energy so much. And one of the things that really elevates my energy is singing. Mm-hmm. So I went, I performed, I didn't get sick, and I completely forgot of any symptoms. I got to my car, I turned my phone on, and there's a message from a friend. Did you want to come out for dinner with me? And I'm like, sure, where do you meet? I'm on my way. And on my way there, a thought crossed my mind. Oh, do you really think you can eat now after you felt sick all day long? And I'm just crushed that thought. And I said, I'm not sick. I am not sick. And I wasn't sick. I wasn't even nauseous after that. I had a lovely steak dinner. It was wonderful. I never got sick. So now I apply it. A while back, I had to go to an event, and I knew there would be a person who was really sick. And I did not want to miss this. So I decided the day before I had to meet this group, I started to get this tickle in my throat. And I have it up here. I want to read it. This is straight from the mouth of our mentor, Marissa Peer. Your mind get to own and accept your suggestions, and it will start to act on all these thoughts. Your mind's main job is to make your suggestions real, good or bad, useful or useless, healthy or unhealthy, hurtful or helpful. Your mind's job is to make them real. So your job now is to have better suggestions, because your mind is going to make them real anyway. Your mind must imitate your thoughts. Therefore, it is crucial for you to remember that if my mind's job is to make my thoughts real, my job is to think fabulous, better, improved, powerful, and upgraded thoughts so that my brilliant body and mind can make them real. So tell yourself what you require, insist on demand for your body. So I remember this. And I was walking, I like to walk. I was walking up and down, and with every step, I said, I'm healthy, 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 I'm healthy. I kept doing it. I went for a long walk. I kept doing it. I kept doing it. I kept doing it. At some point, I got distracted and I stopped. And I got home and I forgot.
Uh-huh.
I forgot.
Uh-huh.
And the next morning, I got up to go to this conference and it hit me. I forgot to be sick. I forgot. I told my mind over and over and over again, I'm healthy, I'm healthy, I'm healthy, I'm healthy. I was healthy.
Mm-hmm. And it works. Like, and it sounds like it shouldn't, right? It's like the logical mind will say, how can that even be? How can that even be? But your subconscious mind just kind of listens. Your subconscious mind listens to your thoughts, and the mind will give you whatever it thinks you want. So
Right.
if you're
Right.
saying to yourself, oh, I think my back is too sore to go for a run today, your subconscious mind is listening. It'll be like, oh, Fran doesn't want to go for a run today. I'm going to make her back really sore so she can stay home.
Exactly.
Right. And it's like, but it's like that balancing act. But
Right.
if we give the mind the beautiful, and this is what we do so well when we're giving the recording for our clients, we just give it all these wonderful, beautiful ideas about change, right? These wonderful, Marina, your voice is going to be so perfect at the concert. You're going to be lovely and just melodic, and the guests will just be enthralled with your beautiful voice. And when you get off the stage, you will know that was one of your best performances ever. Right? And we're really good at creating the scene in the mind for our client. And all it takes is 21 days of listening to this beautiful recording. And sure enough, the mind believes it. Your subconscious mind believes it. And there's lots of data on it, like tons of data, that all it takes really is 3 times to hear the same thing and your mind begins to believe it.
Yeah.
So with 21 times or even more, I mean, Marina, I still listen to the recordings that were made like 2.5 years ago because they just sound so wonderful, right? They're just beautiful recordings.
Yeah. And it's that feeling that it evokes within you that's so important. I work a lot with obese women, emotional eaters and binge eaters, and the success of that is not, oh, I can control my mind around eating. The success of that is to start to fall in love with who you really are, to find that little fire within you. And I believe each one of us has a little fire within us. And if we can start to remember that and live from that, everything will change.
Yeah. And feed that fire, right? Feed that little fire goodness, happiness, good thoughts, the good thoughts, the hope. Feed that little fire with hope. And then it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And then you'll forget that you didn't love yourself. You forget, because suddenly it's like, wow, I quite like the way I look in the mirror today. I quite like the way I move in this body. I quite like the fact that I can do this and this and this, right? And so it's feeding the mind what it needs to be able to grow into that healthy, beautiful human being that you were meant to be always, from your inception, from your conception, right? From the mind that created you, the beautiful mind that created you. So that's the kind of stuff I love.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So we wanted to celebrate tonight that we made it 2.5
Yeah,
years to number
yeah,
100,
yeah,
and we are going strong. And I want to salute every single guest that we've had who made the opening the place of hope, the place where
yes,
hope is happening. I want to
yes,
salute every guest who will be coming in the future to contribute to spreading hope wherever we go. And I know that your daughter is printing some stickers for us about hope.
yeah. A special 100th anniversary celebration sticker, especially for the guests who either tuned in tonight or is watching it on a replay. Yeah, she's got, she's pretty creative, and she's got a little business on Etsy. It's called The Purple House Yeg, YEG, and
Right.
Yeg is the airport in
That's
Edmonton,
right. Yes, yes.
Edmonton,
Yeah.
Canada. So she's got a sticker shop in Etsy. You can find her, The Purple House Yeg. And for everyone who tuned in or is watching this on a replay, get a hold of her there. You will be given a
And
free
Fran, if they
commemorative.
contact you, you will connect them with that as well, right?
Absolutely.
Yes,
Yes,
so just go to the
absolutely.
hopenning.com and click on Fran's website there,
Yes.
and you can connect with Fran. And honestly, my heart for it is, let's all talk hopeful talks. Let's change the word one hopeful conversation after the other. Let's, if you get your hand on that sticker, spread it.
Yeah.
Tell people, hey, I want to talk about hope. What gives you hope? Stop people on the street and everybody in your life when they start to talk about fear and things that goes wrong in life. It's so easy to focus on that. So, but we can change the world if we start to focus on hope. So let's
Yeah.
focus
And
on hope.
once you get your sticker, take a picture of it and upload it onto Facebook or onto Hopenning, our Hopenning Facebook site. Yeah, post it. It'll be fun to give you a thumbs up or
Right.
a like or a heart from us.
Exactly. And so at the end of the day, this we call this the opening, the place where hope is happening. But I want to invite every single person watching this to let hope, the opening, live in your heart, to join the conversation. Doesn't matter where you are. Contact us. Tell us your story of hope. Tell us how you spread hope wherever you go. We would love to put you on the show. We would love to talk to you.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah. And and surround yourself with people like Marina or myself that will uplift you, right? Will bring you up rather than suck you down into this black vortex. We want to uplift you because improved relationships, improved health, improved mindset, improved success. It all comes by being uplifted by people who care about you and who will give you the support you need. So let's do this together. We want the best for you. We want the best for our nation, for our planet. Yeah, we can do it if we
absolutely.
band
And
together.
so for the opening, we have number 101 next week. We have Andrea Biederman, right?
Mm-hmm.
That is coming to us from
Yeah.
Vancouver. And so we will do that. And the week after that, things will change.
Yep. Yep.
So,
All right.
so remember to tell your friends about us. Now you can subscribe at many other places. And please follow us wherever you can. And thank you so much for being here. Thank you, Fran, for sticking it out with me for 100
Oh,
episodes.
yeah. Thank you too, Marina. It's been fun. It's been so much fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been fun. So thanks for being here, everybody, whether you're a longtime viewer or whether this is the first time you figured you'd try see what this hope is about. Thanks for being here. And I hope that you come back over and over and over and over. Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.
Okay. Love you.